Chapter 3. Information is power. Nick's taxi slowed to a halt before the gleaming gates of 44 Billionaires Road. As it paused before the entry system, a crisp electronic voice filtered through the speakers. "Good day, sir. Please state the access password to enter the property." Nick responded without hesitation. "Shefford." "Thank you, sir. You may proceed." The gates swung open with a quiet hum, revealing a private drive. That wound through the estate's manicured gardens. The cab moved forward, gliding silently over the polished stone path. Nick's breath caught as the house came into view. It was a Victorian-era mansion, majestic and immaculately preserved, its facade a marriage of antiquity and innovation. Ornate spires and gables were complemented by ambient lighting built seamlessly into the architecture. At the center of the garden stood holographic monuments depicting the Greek pantheon, Zeus, Athena, Apollo, and others, each one shifting subtly in the light, their digital forms almost lifelike. Surrounding the statues were rare, exotic flowers, long thought extinct. Casualties of wars and environmental collapse. Their vibrant colours defied the London greys, sustained here through advanced horticulture and atmospheric shielding. Nick stared at them, recognizing some from old books and archives, their scent faint but surreal. In the chilled air, the cab came to a stop at the base of a sweeping stone staircase. Nick stepped out, his boots crunching against the gravel. He climbed the steps and stood before a large oak door, framed by ionic columns and adorned with a brass lion head knocker. The door opened automatically. He stepped inside and paused in awe. The interior was a breathtaking synthesis of old-world grandeur and cutting-edge design. The entry hall was lined with dark, richly carved oak panelling, etched with floral patterns and ancestral scenes. Above him hung a colossal crystal chandelier, refracting soft light in every direction. Gently pulsing panels were embedded into the walls. Touch-sensitive screens, discreetly masked as period decor. Everything about the place exuded wealth, intelligence, and control. "Hello?" Nick called out tentatively. "Uncle William, are you here?" A familiar voice, smooth and synthetic, answered, its tone courteous and calm. "Greetings, Mr. Adams. I trust your journey to London was without incident?" Nick turned in place, eyes scanning the grand hall. "Who are you? Where are you exactly?" he asked, curiosity sharpening his tone. "I am Apollo," the voice replied. "Master Stenhouse's personal AI. I am responsible for managing the household in his absence and ensuring guests are well attended to." "So, my uncle's not home?" Nick said, unable to keep the disappointment from his voice. "You are correct, sir," Apollo confirmed. "However, he has left detailed instructions for your arrival. You are to make your way to his office, ground level, northwest wing. Once there, I will assist you in contacting him. No need for your mobile device." Nick thanked Apollo and continued down the corridor, his eyes drawn to a lavish golden nameplate. Affixed to the third door, the engraving was bold, elegant, and assertive. William's main office. He reached for the handle and stepped inside. The atmosphere shifted instantly. The air carried the scent of polished wood and fresh coffee. The office exuded a serene authority, a fusion of old-world refinement and cutting-edge innovation. Every detail spoke of taste and legacy. Meticulously crafted furniture in rich dark wood lined the room, its warmth offset by sleek modern accents. At the centre stood a majestic mahogany desk, its surface perfectly polished. To a mirror-like sheen, intricate carvings along its edges captured classical motifs, laurels, lions, and ancient runes. To one side, a modern coffee machine rested on a small table, its gentle hum and rich aroma offering comfort within the formality. Lining the walls were shelves, packed with weathered leather-bound books, their spines cracked, their pages yellowed with time. Literary survivors of the Grand War, they were relics of knowledge, silently standing against the tide, of ignorance and destruction. But it was the holographic computer on the desk that caught Nick's eye. It glowed with quiet confidence. Its translucent interface, floating above the desk, shimmering softly like morning mist. Here, tradition and future coexisted in perfect balance. Nick turned, taking it all in. "Quite the setup my uncle has," he muttered. Then, more clearly, "So, Apollo, what now?" "To proceed, sir," the AI responded smoothly, "you must locate the floorboard that emits a distinctive creak when stepped upon, and apply pressure 3 times in succession." "Of course," Nick said with a small sigh, "because why wouldn't there be a secret floorboard?" He moved methodically across the floor, shifting his weight. Creak. There. With deliberate steps, he pressed the spot 3 times. A mechanical hum stirred below. The polished floor panels separated, along hidden seams revealing a circular platform, descending beneath the room. A gentle blue glow illuminated the shaft as the lift began to lower. Nick stepped aboard. "Access granted," Apollo announced. "Good luck, Mr. Adams." The floor above sealed behind him, then light. Nick blinked as the brilliance faded and found himself standing in a surreal desert landscape, impossibly vivid and lifelike. The sky was a dusky orange, the sand stretching to a false horizon. It wasn't real, he realized. A projected simulation built to impress or intimidate. Seated on a lavish chair under a makeshift canopy was his uncle, William Stenhouse, raising a crystal tumbler in silent toast. "Nick," he said, smiling warmly, "it's a pleasure to see you." Nick stepped forward, still disoriented. "Uncle Will, I thought this would be a call. I wanted something closer to face," William said, taking a slow sip of whiskey. "But actual presence is a luxury I can't afford. Not with the Black Death. Still targeting key figures. Even I have to follow security protocols now." "Where are you exactly?" Nick asked. William's smile thinned. "I'm afraid I can't say. Classified, even from you, for your safety and mine." Nick nodded slowly, accepting it for now. "You said you're helping to combat the Black Death. Is that true?" "Absolutely." William's tone turned serious. Midas has been preparing something. That will change everything. A response the terrorists won't see coming, and something I believe you, in particular, will come to value. Nick's eyes narrowed. What are you talking about? William reached for a console, embedded in his armrest, and tapped a glowing rune. I'm sending it to you now, he said, the desert winds flaring theatrically behind him. Sending what? Nick asked, baffled. William raised his glass, a gleam of pride in his eyes. The most powerful weapon ever conceived. A small wooden box shimmered into existence. On the platform in front of Nick, he stepped forward, curiosity and apprehension, mingling in his chest, and gently opened the lid. Inside lay a single object, a bracelet elegantly crafted from a dark, burnished alloy. At its centre gleamed a thunderbolt symbol, etched in fine detail, pulsing faintly. With a soft blue glow, Nick blinked. This is what's supposed to help me fight the Black Death? Ah, Will said, swirling the whiskey in his glass with amusement. But that's no ordinary bracelet. That, my boy, is a nanolinker. Nick furrowed his brow. Nanolinker? And what exactly does that mean? It houses a colony of nanomites, programmable, adaptive microbots, Will explained. When activated, they form a suit of protective armor around your body. We call it ZEUS. It not only shields you from harm, but enhances your strength, speed, and endurance. It's a personal exosuit, the most advanced of its kind. Nick examined the bracelet skeptically. And how do I activate it? Wear it on your right wrist, his uncle instructed. Then say the word, Zeus. But don't just say it, you must mean it, with conviction. Nick clipped the bracelet on. It adjusted perfectly to his wrist, the thunderbolt faintly glowing in response. He hesitated, then muttered, Zeus? Nothing. Is it broken? No, said Will. You're the problem. This isn't a remote control. This is neural activated tech. If you're going to wield it, you need to believe you can. Nick clenched his fist. He remembered his parents, the alley, the promise he'd made. He drew a breath, then roared from deep in his chest. Zeus! The bracelet flared. A beam of radiant light surged upward, and in a blur of motion, countless nanomites exploded from the device, engulfing Nick in a shimmering cyclone of energy. The air pulsed with electric tension as the swarm moved with a will of its own, coating his body in layers of gleaming metal and smart fabric. He staggered as the suit formed. Not from pain, but from sheer intensity. It felt as if a second skin were being woven into his own. The nanomites crawled, aligned, and locked into place with microscopic precision, adapting perfectly to his frame. The suit flexed and shifted like living armor, matching his movements before he even made them. His senses blurred. As the nanomites synchronized with his nervous system, attuning themselves to his reflexes, his balance, his thoughts, a brief wave of dizziness washed over him, then passed, replaced by a flood of clarity. When the light faded, Nick stood transformed. The armor was sleek, futuristic, yet primal. Midnight black, with streaks of cobalt blue, and the thunderbolt insignia now emblazoned boldly across the chest. It was intimidating, beautiful, undeniably powerful. Nick took a breath, then another. His voice trembled as he looked at his armored hands. What happened to me? See for yourself, Will said, gesturing with a flick of his wrist. A holographic mirror shimmered into life before Nick, its surface swirling briefly before stabilizing to reveal his full reflection. Nick's breath caught in his throat. The figure staring back at him no longer resembled a frightened teenager. The armor, sleek and sculpted in radiant metallic silver, clung perfectly to his frame, every curve engineered to exude both strength and agility. The polished surface caught the ambient light, refracting it in delicate pulses, making him appear as if he were wrapped in lightning itself. His eyes were drawn to the helmet, a work of art in its own right, stylized like an ancient Spartan warrior, bold, fierce, timeless. Its sharp, sweeping crest arched proudly over his head, while the ethereal, blue visor pulsed with life, casting a faint glow across his features. It wasn't merely a faceplate, it was a symbol, a declaration, the faint thrum of energy from within the suit. Seemed to mirror his heartbeat, syncing man and machine with haunting precision. Unbelievable, Nick murmured. It's like something out of one of those old Japanese superhero shows that Connor's always on about. His voice trembled. Not with fear, but with awe. The transformation was overwhelming. From ordinary to extraordinary. Every inch of the suit spoke of power, purpose, and potential. Yet the glow of wonder quickly dimmed, as a darker thought entered his mind. But this armor, he said slowly, it looks a lot like what Thanatos wears. Will's expression didn't shift. He had anticipated the question. With a calm nod, he replied, yes. Thanatos also uses a nanolinker, but yours is a different breed altogether. His was reverse engineered and warped, built for domination. Yours was custom designed, tailored with protective and adaptive technologies. It shares a silhouette, yes, but what lies beneath is entirely your own. Nick swallowed hard. The glamour of the suit faded slightly. Under the weight of responsibility, he was meant to fight someone who had already brought nations to their knees. The nagging doubt found its voice. But how am I supposed to fight someone like him? I've only ever practiced basic martial arts. My biggest fight so far has been avoiding double maths. Aunt Susie taught me a few moves, but that's hardly going to prepare me for him. There it was, the raw honesty of fear, laid bare in his words. But Will's voice cut through the fog of doubt. Like a lighthouse in a storm, you're not expected to be ready, Nick. Not yet. His tone was softer now, reassuring. The linker doesn't just give you power, it grows with you. It learns from you, adapts to your instincts, sharpens your reactions. This suit doesn't make you a hero. It's your journey, your choices, your resolve that will. The suit is an extension of you, Nick, not the other way round. Trust it. But more importantly, trust yourself. William's voice took on a solemn, proud timbre as he began to outline the suit's capabilities. Introducing the Mark IV Zeus Power Armor. our most advanced model to date. Forged from titanium nexus, an ultra-durable alloy engineered for frontline combat, this suit offers exceptional protection against conventional projectiles. Standard ammunition will barely scratch it. However, I must stress, high-grade tungsten rounds remain a serious threat. Even cutting-edge armour has its vulnerabilities. Nick listened intently as his uncle continued, pacing slowly, his tone crisp, like a military briefing. Inside the helmet, you'll find a fully integrated heads-up display. The HUD delivers real-time mission data, tactical analysis, and threat detection. You'll be able to identify enemy weaknesses, spot concealed dangers, and switch effortlessly between night vision and thermal modes. It's designed to give you an edge in any environment, be it daylight or darkness. William tapped a panel on his chair. A three-dimensional projection of the helmet spun slowly into view, highlighting its internal systems. The helmet also includes a rebreather, granting you up to an hour of breathable air in hazardous conditions: smoke, gas, chemical warfare. Additionally, the suit is fitted with a built-in defibrillator. Should your vitals drop to critical levels, the system can deliver a controlled shock to revive you. One of those features we hope never to use, but always prepare for. Nick's eyes widened slightly. As William carried on, the interior is lead-lined, shielding you from radiation. You could walk through fallout zones, or even near reactor cores with minimal risk. And then, of course, there's the weaponry. Another flick of William's hand brought the pistol into the hologram. It hovered, rotating slowly. Your primary armament, a custom-built .5 caliber sidearm. It accepts both lethal and non-lethal ammunition. With one trigger pull, it can eliminate targets, or disable electronic systems with an EMP round. But it doesn't stop there. It also features a plasma blade conversion mode. With a single command, it becomes a non-lethal stun baton. Perfect for subduing targets, without permanent damage, when the mission calls for restraint. He paused, tone firm, proud. Protection, versatility, lethality. The Mark IV Zeus armor isn't just a tool. It's a survival system. With it, you'll be equipped for anything the Black Death throws at you. Turning to the wall, William issued his next command. Apollo, interface with the suit. Optimize its systems for Nick. Give him guided assistance. Understood, sir. Apollo replied smoothly. Before Nick could prepare, a sudden surge of energy rippled through his body. The suit's systems flared to life, overwhelming his nervous system. The feedback hit him like a punch to the gut. He staggered, then dropped to one knee, bracing against the floor with a grunt. Bloody hell, he gasped. What the hell was that? Panting slightly, he pushed himself upright. Arms trembling from the overload, he glared at Will. Through the visor. You could have warned me. That would feel like getting tasered. With a blend of sympathy and steely seriousness. Take it easy, Nick. I just wanted to make sure you wouldn't act recklessly while wearing the suit. That's why I had Apollo integrate with it to guide you through the process. I've also had him disable the lethal functions on your weapon. Nick tried to sound resolute. Uncle, You don't need to worry so much. The only time I'd use the kill setting is on Thanatos and his lot. William's expression clouded with concern. It's not that simple. You can't just go around killing criminals or terrorists and expect no fallout. Every enemy you make will have allies, eh? People with power, influence, and resources. If you start taking lives, the conflict will spiral. You'll not only put yourself in danger, but our entire family. Can you honestly promise you won't snap in the heat of battle? Nick clenched his jaw. The truth of the question hit hard. I'll do my best, he said at last, the words heavy with doubt. It wasn't a vow he could make lightly. Not when so much was uncertain. The responsibility of wielding such power weighed on him. Still, deep inside, a flicker of determination began to burn. He was ready to face what came, even if it meant walking the razor's edge between right and wrong. William straightened up, his voice sharpened. Very well. Let's evaluate your readiness for your first assignment. Nick tilted his head, seeking clarity. Is this a test, then? You're saying I'm not ready to face Thanatos? Will's response came quickly, firm, but not unkind. No, not even close. Facing him now would get you killed. You need to train, sharpen your abilities, patch up your weaknesses. We'll build you up, piece by piece, until you're ready. Nick exhaled slowly, the weight of his limitations pressing down. For now, vengeance would have to wait. All right, then. What's the mission? Will's tone became calm, but commanding. Alright, briefing mode. Heinrich Fischer, notorious arms dealer. He's wanted in over 30 countries and was last spotted in the slum district. Intelligence suggests he has ties to Thanatos. Your objective is to locate and apprehend him, alive. We need to interrogate him about Thanatos' operations. Nick leaned forward slightly, taking it all in. Am I going in alone, or is there backup beyond you and Apollo? You'll have support, Will assured him. Captain Gina Rhodes will be leading the operation. You'll be under her command. Nick's eyebrows shot up, voice tinged with awe. Wait, the Gina Rhodes, the hero from the Grand War? Will gave a small nod, the corner of his mouth lifting in quiet pride. The very same. I've already informed her team. They're expecting you near the eastern entrance of the slums. Nick's heart thudded in his chest. Working alongside a legend, it was daunting and thrilling all at once. If anyone could guide him through his first real mission, it was someone like Captain Rhodes. Nick considered the logistics, frowning slightly. Canary Wharf is quite a distance. I assume transport's been arranged. Will replied with a faint smile. Just then, the floor beneath Nick began to descend, with a low, mechanical hum revealing a hidden lift. When I acquired this property, I had it constructed above a decommissioned 20th century underground station. I repurposed it as a private command centre and secure refuge. Just in case the world ever turned sideways, your ride is waiting below. Nick leaned forward, curiosity sharpening his features. What exactly have you built down there? Will allowed a note of mystery into his voice. Come see for yourself. As the lift sank deeper into the earth, Nick felt a thrill rising in his chest. The air grew cooler, denser, and when the platform finally came to a halt, heavy doors hissed open. A corridor cloaked in subdued lighting stretched ahead. The station, once filled with the noise of commuters, had been reborn. Now it was a clandestine fortress, a haven designed for operations in the shadows. The first chamber Nick entered left him speechless. The armory. It was no mere weapons room. It was a gallery of precision, crafted instruments of war. Sleek firearms lined the walls, pistols, assault rifles, tactical shotguns. Each one meticulously maintained, displayed with almost artistic intent. Blade racks stood nearby, offering everything from combat knives to exotic swords, their steel gleaming under the cold overhead lights. Ammunition crates were stacked in perfect order, labelled by caliber and purpose. A testament to the military-grade discipline behind this operation. Beyond the armory lay the virtual reality training chamber. Its doors slid open to reveal an immersive simulation arena. Seamless black panels, dimly glowing with latent energy, awaited activation. This room was a crucible for refining skill. Nick imagined himself training within high-pressure scenarios, all projected in photorealistic clarity. It was here he would sharpen his reflexes, elevate his instincts, and learn to think like a true operative. Further down the passage, they passed a fully stocked survival pantry. Rows of reinforced shelving stood tall, stacked with long-life food supplies, purified water canisters, medical kits, and portable filtration systems. It was clear this facility had not been built for short missions, but for prolonged, self-sustaining resistance, should the outside world collapse into chaos. Finally, they reached the communications hub, so a reinforced sanctum at the heart of the command center. Secured by multiple biometric locks, the room was insulated with signal dampening materials and bristled with encrypted networks. Monitors displayed live satellite overlays, scrambled feeds, and secure comms channels, ready for coordination at a moment's notice. This was where strategy became action, where secrets flowed in and out under digital lock and key. Nick turned to his uncle, barely containing his awe. This place, it's a fortress. Will's expression remained resolute. It's a sanctuary and a battlefield. I built it so that when the moment came, you wouldn't be unprepared. William stepped aside, revealing one of the most formidable machines Nick had ever laid eyes on. "Behold the Centaur 32X, he announced proudly, his voice brimming with enthusiasm. This isn't just a motorcycle. It's a marvel of engineering, built for precision, power, and performance. With a 1000cc dual-motor engine, it can reach speeds of up to 240 miles per hour, launching from 0 to 60 in just 3 seconds. It's designed to thrill and to survive." Nick's breath caught as he took in the machine. It stood sleek and angular, like a predator at rest, gleaming beneath the low light of the chamber. The raw potential emanating from its frame sent a jolt of excitement through his veins. "But speed is only the beginning," William continued, gesturing toward the bike. "The Centaur 32X includes an integrated GPS system with advanced route mapping and live threat detection. It's not just a ride, It's a tactical companion. Nick stepped closer, admiring the craftsmanship. When William added, and for less peaceful situations, it comes armed. Dual front-mounted armor-piercing machine guns and Stinger missile pods provide surgical offense in high-threat engagements. Nick blinked in awe. It's a war machine. It's a tool, William corrected, his tone firm. Its purpose is defined by the hands that guide it. Constructed with titanium nexus, just like your suit. The Centaur is lightweight, nearly impervious to conventional weaponry, and capable of withstanding direct engagements. While maintaining agility, it's built to keep you alive. Nick ran his fingers across the cool metal, the weight of responsibility settling in. And it connects to the nanolinker? Seamlessly, Will confirmed. You can summon it during field operations with a thought. When not synchronized with your armor, it reverts to a civilian profile. Clean, anonymous, and street legal. Adaptability is survival. Without hesitation, Nick mounted the bike. As he gripped the handlebars, the Centaur roared to life with a deep, thunderous growl. Its headlights cut through the dimness, casting long shadows across the command center's walls. The machine was alive, and it recognized him. DNA encoded, came Apollo's calm voice. Through the comms system in his helmet. Identity confirmed. Nick Adams, Zeus Protocol, engaged. Please note, unauthorized access will result in a 1,000-volt deterrent shock. Nick smirked. Noted. He turned to William. I'm ready. William took a step back, his voice low and firm. From this moment on, when you're suited, you're no longer Nick Adams. You are Zeus. You carry more than a name. You carry a symbol. Understand? I understand. Nick replied with resolute clarity, accepting the mantle. Good luck, Zeus, and may fate favour the bold. With a deep breath, Zeus twisted the throttle. The Centaur responded like a stallion released from the gates, its engine howling as it tore down the underground tunnel. The vibrations echoed through the steel-lined walls. Apollo, plot the quickest route to Captain Rhodes. Zeus called over the roar. Coordinates locked. Guiding now. Apollo responded without delay. The wind buffeted him as he carved through the tunnel bends, the Centaur responding to his every move like an extension of his own body. The speed, the hum of power, the sense of momentum, it was exhilarating. Yet within the adrenaline rush burned a singular purpose. This was no thrill ride. He wasn't just chasing a criminal. He was riding into war.